Now we're going to look at some useful built-in functions that will be really helpful as we work with data frames in series. So first we're going to start by reminding you that Pandas was really built on top of NumPy. And so any functions that work for NumPy arrays will work with Pandas series. And so as a good example is let's grab our baby frames data frame that we've been working with so far. Let's actually do a selection operator to just grab a series from this. So suppose I just wanted to grab all the babies whose names were Devin, and I just want to grab the count column. So in this case, I've got the indices that correspond to rows where there was a baby named Devin, and then the number of babies in that given year named Devin. I can call NumPy functions on this series just like I would with a NumPy array. So I can take the mean of the count values here, I can take the max, etc. So this will be really useful as you're analyzing and doing different manipulations with data. In addition, Pandas has some specific methods that are built in to handle some of the unique things we want to do with series and data frames. And so we're just going to go through this select list of methods, but I highly encourage you to explore on your own because there will be many that you encounter and may want to add to this list of useful methods as you progress through the course. So .shape is the first, and it is just what it sounds like. It's going to give you the number of rows and the number of columns. It's just an attribute. So that's a quick one if you want a quick glance. .describe is really useful. So here again is just the first 5 rows and the last 5 rows of the baby names data frame. Describe is going to give you some summary statistics for the numerical columns. So notice the only 2 numerical columns in this were year and count. And so it's going to spit out count as in the number of rows, and then the mean, standard deviation, min, and the percentiles and the max. This is a great place to glance at your data and just do some basic gut checks and make sure you have things that would make sense. Like my min year starts in 1910 and ends in 2022. That's good. That's a good check. I don't have negative years. Count is actually interesting if we look at this here, because this actually says the minimum number of baby names in a given year is 5. And so this should give you pause to think, does that really mean there's not someone in the state of Colorado who had a unique baby name in a given year? And it's actually not the case that there weren't any unique baby names. It's just that that was not in our data set. If you recall, we got this from the Social Security website. And if you read the fine print, they actually said they only included names where there were 5 or more in a given year to help keep the data more anonymous. So if you call this on a series, you're going to get, and it's a numerical series, you're going to get the exact same statistics that we saw on the previous page. You'll get slightly different statistics if you call it on a categorical variable. So just showing you that as an example here. Now .info is going to give you a nice insight at least into the object type for a given column, as well as the number of non-null values. So this is where the first place I look to try to figure out, all right, do I have null values or data that I might need to clean? So this is lining up with the total number of entries. So I don't have any null data values for any of the columns in this data set. And you'll notice object, that's going to be any string column. So .sample is something we're going to be using in a couple weeks, but basically it's just a way that you can randomly grab a row from a data frame. By default, it's without replacement. So here, if I just do babynames.sample, it's just going to call one random row. If I do babynames.sample, here I'm just grabbing these columns starting at column 2 to the end. This is grabbing a random sample of 5. If you were to call this again, you're going to get a different random sample for this one and a different random sample of 5 here. Notice these are without replacement, so each row can only be grabbed once. If you want it to be with replacement, you're going to set replace equals to true, and that would allow for you to get possibly the same row twice. It didn't show up in this top screenshot that I have here, but it would be possible, say, for this row to show up again down here. And we'll talk about later in the course why you might want to sample with or without replacement, what your application would be. Value counts does exactly what it sounds like. It's actually going to count the number of occurrences of each unique value. So here I can see if I just look at names and do .value counts, there are 20,239 unique names. And then the most popular was Jean, the next most popular was Francis, and it's letting me know exactly how many times those names show up in the data frame. .unique is somewhat similar in the sense that it's actually just going to be returning a list of those unique names. So it's not giving me the counts along with them, but it's a quick way to get a list of all the unique names in a given column. Series.sortValues is going to sort a series based on the values. So here, by default, it's sorted in ascending order, which alphabetically means starting at A, ending at Z. If you want to call sort values on a data frame, it'll also work. You just have to specify what column you want to sort by. So here, if I want to sort by count from largest to smallest, I can set ascending equal to false, and I can specify that I want to sort by count. You can also sort by multiple columns. So if I wanted to sort first by count and then by year, I could do that by putting this in brackets. So let me show that here. I could do that and then put the next column name that I want in quotes, and then it would do it in that order. All right, so let's say, for example, we want the top 5 most popular names in Colorado in the year 2021. We have our original baby names data frame. We could do some conditional selection to grab all babies born in 2021. But then if I want the top 5 most popular, I'm going to be using that count column. So here, I want to just grab the subset of babies born in 2021, and then I will sort values on count, ascending false, and it'll output this list. And so this gives me the most popular names in 2021. So this works when I'm just trying to sort by a column that I already have built into my data frame, but sometimes I want interesting information about something that hasn't been yet aggregated in my data frame. So a good example, let's just make up another possible question. Suppose I wanted to find the longest name in Colorado. At this point, I don't have any info in my data frame that captures the length of the names. If I sort by name, that's just going to look at it alphabetically. And so this is where I really need some type of tool to be able to modify or add a new column or do some type of manipulation that will help me grab this information and then sort. So that's what we're going to learn how to do in our next video, which is going to cover adding columns, transforming columns, and some more unique type of sorting.